We've spoken about the globalization of K-pop and its impressive rise in popularity amongst an audience beyond South Korea in previous videos, so I'll try not to be too repetitive here and just get to the meat of today's topic. With this hard push for many K-pop groups to venture into the Western market over the past couple years, many groups have tried their hand, and we've definitely had a mixed bag of results, with most groups doing quite well in this regard. In the last 3 years alone, we've gotten groups like aespa, LE SSERAFIM, IDOL, ITZY, and TWICE, who've all dropped full English releases at some point, and most of these, depending on who you ask, were relatively well done. Considering what previous generations of K-pop have given us, I think we can safely say that most K-pop companies have since learned how to read the room and take note of how to and how not to make a US debut. But I guess Starship didn't get that message. At least not for IVE, because from what I've seen, they've done quite well with Monsta X's US releases. Now, I've also spoken on how half-assed some of Starship's management of IVE has been. From their album covers being literal blank canvases, to their light stick looking like a generic light bulb with little to no creativity levied behind it, Starship has seemingly decided to stop trying with IVE because they know that they don't have to anymore. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that any company can make, in my opinion. Like, look at this. There's no color, no personality, and just absolutely no effort here. I understand using minimalism as a aesthetic, but what is this, Starship? Of all of the interesting light stick designs that many groups have given us over the years, this is the best that you could do for your flagship million-seller girl group? Regardless of their lack of creativity, Starship's management of IVE has been fine mostly. Their music has been damn near perfect for me personally, with only maybe 1 or 2 songs that I just didn't really vibe with. But, for the most part, Starship has figured out what works for IVE and knows very well how to sell it. Unfortunately, it would seem that they finally reached the first huge misstep in IVE's career, and that's their English release with the American female rapper, Saweetie. Now, when I first heard that they were making an English debut, I was curious. I'm always interested to see how a K-pop group reformulates their sound to present themselves to a newer audience. Also, I don't listen to a lot of mainstream American music, so I admittedly wasn't too familiar with who Saweetie was, nor was I able to picture what kind of energy she would bring to an IVE song. I love me some Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande, but beyond these two and maybe a couple of other artists, my taste more so sway towards indie American music. So I'm not here to speak on Saweetie's musicality because I don't know enough about it to provide an insightful opinion. I'm merely here to state my opinion about the project that we actually got from this collaboration, which is the song All Night. All Night, a song that's a remake of Iconopop's 2013 release, was a product of its time. When I say that, what I mean is that it's a song that worked in the time that it came out in the early 2010s, and it fit the group that it was initially made for. Iconopop had their own style, and this electro-pop club music was their thing, and it worked for them. What IVE did here was add nothing to the original production, which in turn means that this song did absolutely nothing for them. So now I'm trying to figure out what this was and why Starship chose this to be IVE's first big English release. Why not give them an original song? Or at the very least, have them remake a song that would fit them better. I mean, were they just testing the waters, or were they actually expecting us to take this seriously? Now, don't get me wrong, I actually don't hate the song. I liked it as it was originally sang, and ordinarily, I don't mind remakes so long as whomever chooses to remake a song puts their own spin on it. aespa's Next Level was a very polarizing song when it came out, and even I was side-eyeing this song the first time I heard it, until I eventually couldn't stop listening to it. Regardless of how you may feel about aespa's music, one thing that you can't deny about that song was that at least aespa put their own spin on it. Their version of Next Level was reminiscent of the original song, but it also still managed to sound like a song that originally came from them. So much so that I wasn't even aware that it was a remake until many months after it was released. As for IVE's rendition of All Night, the structure of this song does them no favors, and ultimately just wastes their talents and time. 80% of the song is just chorus, and the chorus has all of the members singing it together like 5 times in a row across a 2-minute song. Okay, so obviously I'm exaggerating a little, but not by much. I would normally be okay with a good chanting cheerleader sounding chorus. Many groups do this very well. But why do none of the members have individual lines or verses in this song? And why is Saweetie the only one with a section to herself? Any casual non-IVE or non-K-pop fan listening to this song would assume that this was Saweetie's song featuring IVE. Now, is it her song featuring them? Because I don't recall any of the marketing materials explicitly stating that, but maybe I missed something. Tell me if I did. If it is their song, then IVE is billed as background noise in a song that's supposed to be theirs. How does this song showcase IVE as a group when there's nothing here that allows them to shine as a group? None of the members stand out here either, not vocally or in any other way. We have no choreography and barely any standout moments throughout the entire song or music video, and that's quite disappointing. So all of the members just sort of blend together into this hyper-energetic instrumentation, and the music video itself looks as though it were filmed in 2 hours on some random day that Saweetie just happened to be in the same city as IVE. I at first thought that they would pull the same thing that they did with the project group that Soyeon, Liz, and Winter were in last year for the music video for Nobody. There, none of the idols shared a single scene together, and at the very end, whoever was editing the music video tried to gaslight us all into believing that they had filmed together by CGIing them into the final scene for the thumbnail shot. Now, I know that that song wasn't an official release and it was solely created for a special event that was occurring in South Korea at the time, so I didn't give it much thought. But here, the lack of effort is far too obvious to ignore. Someone in the comment section can correct me if I'm wrong, but is this song not meant to be an official release or something? Is it a special single that they never plan to promote anywhere? Because if so, then feel free to ignore every argument that I've made in this video. But it's quite odd how Starship hyped this up as if it was supposed to be something big, only for it to fall flat with its presentation. It doesn't feel planned or very well thought out. More like Starship somehow got Saweetie and Iconopop to agree to this as part of some kind of contractual obligation that none of us are aware of. By the way, Saweetie seems like the most random person for IVE to collab with. How did they even come in contact with each other? Is IVE signed to Saweetie's American record label? They seem to have 2 completely different audiences. Again, I don't know enough about her to fully judge, so I won't. And it's not such a bad idea for artists with different audiences to collab because it invites a fresh set of eyes to discover an artist that they wouldn't ordinarily know anything about. So I definitely understand the logic, but that doesn't make this collab feel any less random. IVE isn't what I would call a super soft or sweet group. They've always given off a really elegant rich girl kind of vibe to me. Most of their discography is quite high energy and bright with some very extravagant presentations. They do have some harder hitting songs as B-sides, so I'm not saying that they shouldn't or that they aren't capable of collabing with artists whose music is far more thematically vulgar than theirs. This was just an odd way to introduce them to the Western market, especially when this song has no discernible features that allows IVE to flex any of their talents to a newer audience. I'd say that this song would only attract someone who is already a fan of either IVE or Saweetie, and that's not to say that the song won't be successful. IVE hit the ground running at debut, and they don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. So they'll definitely continue to prosper whether or not this song takes off. But as for attracting new fans, I'm not so sure.